Hello Leo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Leo March 2022 Astrology Must Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That's the interface for all the free goodies that I make for you each month. You don't want to miss anything I work hard to make to help you. And if you forget that address by the time this is done, you can click on the little more button with the arrow underneath the bottom right of the video and it will reveal notes that has links to everything. If you are a Leo sun or moon or rising, or if you're a zealot like me and you go deeper into your chart, Leo, Mercury, Venus, Mars, whatever you're watching for, what we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Leo, so August 15th through the rest of the sign or 23 degree placement through the rest of the sign, I also suggest you listen to my Virgo horoscopes because you late degree people will benefit from listening to both of them. There will be goodies in there for both of them for you. Okay, so what's going on in March? As usual, we have things to celebrate, a couple of things to watch out for, but a lot of things that are very exciting. The first big must know is we have more sweet than salty aspects. Knowing that is not everything, but it certainly is one layer of our astrological picture that we will celebrate. There are a couple of aspects to watch out for, and there are quite a bunch of nice ones. I picked the top 8 that I think you really need to know, and I have a special segment for that. That's at the end of this video, or towards the end of this video. So we'll go into all that then. The next big must know is that eclipse season is beginning. So our little break in between eclipses is wearing off. So by the middle of March, we get into that 4 to 6 week before the eclipses, which is the end of April, early May. And we're starting to rock and roll again with big changes, trajectory shifts, big goodbyes, big hellos, major inner and outer transformation, like you've popped through a portal into a new world. So it is a very exciting time. It's also a very scary time if you've come to watch eclipses and you've come to see that sometimes we suffer great losses during eclipses, but we also often bring in great gains. But because we have that not knowing, and just because of the general energy of the time and the relationship with the moon, being very accentuated at this time, it's very emotional and nerve-wracking, so you'll start to notice as the month goes on, you might start to feel some more generalized anxiety or, of course, I'm not diagnosing you with that. I'm just saying that general feeling of, wow, I feel anxious. I don't know why. And that's heightened, like you have your finger stuck in an electric socket for a couple of months. If you start to feel that, then you can at least know, hey, maybe it's just the eclipses and that's what's happening, So in any case, big changes are coming and you might start to see news about what that will look like. And this is a carryover of the last eclipse cycle towards the end of 2021, where we had our first Taurus Scorpio eclipse, cycle entrance. And so we're continuing those. We'll talk about in great detail where you're going to feel those in the April and May reports, but for now, just know that things are brewing and you might start feeling that. Okay, the biggest must know for this month, and the one I'm most excited to talk about, has to do with the tides finally going out. If you know this terminology because you've been watching my work, great. If not, I will explain it here. When we have personal planets going retrograde, like Mercury, Venus, and Mars, like we've just come out of a very long Venus retrograde cycle, it's more of like an inward and backward type of energy. And sure, things happen, and sometimes the tides bring great things in for you that you had worked on or that you had been wanting. But as far as like actively weaving your new webs, pushing out, forward momentum, clarity, things like springing to life with vibrance and certainty, those are more the hallmarks of the tides going out, which is when the personal planet retrograde and their shadow periods are not happening. And we are finally entering that phase after a long phase of it not being that way. So around March 3rd through around April 27th, we've got our first and I think most vibrant open window of the whole year, because we'll have Aries energy supporting it, which is very springy, like I said, and vibrant, all of those words, and forward moving. We only will have one other big open period without a personal planet retrograde this year, which will be around June 19th through August 21st, because in September we will start not only Mercury retrograde again, but Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde is not something that you have to fear. We'll talk at length about that as it comes up, and I'll help prepare you for it, how to make the most of it. I've come to love Mars retrograde. It used to be super stressful for me until I really understood what was going on. And now I love it and I really look forward to it. But It's not the best time to try to force things out into the world. Your big launches, your brand new things that need momentum and oomph and clarity, sometimes you're not going to find it there. Okay, so these windows between March 23rd and April 27th and June 19th and August 21st-ish are the big open tides, tides going out, where something you send on the tide will be carried out to sea and you won't be paddling against the tide. Launches, engagements, weddings, big parties, big trips, big purchases, sales, sales of things, investments, anything that needs more clarity and oomph behind it, especially in a long-term way, will definitely be very well supported in this nice open window. And as we get towards the end of the month, it will be like a whole new world, because the Aries energies will start to shift from the Pisces dominance. Okay, so the next big must know is we do still have strong Pisces energies. These are not the best or most fun for Leo in general. They have an awkward angle for you, and they tend to bring a lot of emotion into a lot of different areas of your life, uncertainty into some of your relationship space. Your relationship spaces are accentuated both by those Aquarian placements, which we have a lot of this month. Venus will get there, Mars will get there, Saturn is still there. So your relationship space is very much in focus. This has been ongoing in a long-term way because you have long-term planets moving there, but it's accentuated in a short-term way. But I hope that this will mean that contacts that you need for things that you want will show up. You're trying to buy a house. You're trying to buy a house with some sort of different deal than a mainstream way. Your networking, your friendships, your relationships are all brought into full focus. And resources, loans. Many of you will be getting a loan right now. This is a fantastic time to secure a loan. And it's perfect timing because you will have had enough time to do your taxes for this year. And I would suggest, if you're trying to buy a home, or you're trying to make a big purchase, or you're trying to do something financial like that where you need money for, to do your taxes early. Like, get on them now as I'm recording this, get on them in February. Finalize them in February if you can, because then you'll have the numbers that you need to get the loan in March to take advantage of it, and maybe even close in April, which would be ideal. So you have a lot of good energy around that now. Also, the Aquarius energies are making opposition still for you. This has been a sustained period of time. This is happening because there's kind of a stretch of these Aquarian energies, because Mars is getting into Aquarius for the first time in a couple of years. Venus is delayed in getting into Aquarius because of the retrograde in Capricorn. And then, of course, the Sun had been there. And then when that was done, this Venus and Mars thing is happening. And what that means for Leos is more oppositions. So oppositions are 180-degree angles. They're points of conflict or points of triumph in a chart, but they're definitely points where you're being pulled in different directions. Something in your space for yourself is needed, something in your relationship space is needed, or lots for both things. Like maybe your work or your personal recognition is blowing up immensely right now, and that could certainly be happening. But then your partner needs something, or maybe you're having a baby and you're trying to work and then deal with home stuff as well. So your me, we sector, your sector of your internal realms and your external realms, like everything is really pulling at this time, but this can be really prosperous, really fun, a time where you feel like you have all the balls up in the air, where you're juggling, and it's like that point where I'm doing it, I'm not dropping any balls. But you might have to summon your superhero self, and there might be points of conflict in your relationship space or with other random people that have to be dealt with. But anything that you deal with can help line you up for all of the other good things that want to happen. Okay, so just a little note, because not only, and I'm going to talk about this Aries energy more, we're going to talk about the new moon in Aries, plus Jupiter is going to be getting into Aries, but also the Sun is going to be getting into Aries. So there are quite a few elements that are dogging you. Okay, as a Leo, they're putting water on your fire. They might be expanding your fire through the air energies, but causing a lot of busyness and a lot of overstimulation. That's a key word of these oppositions. But once the energies start moving into Aries, it's a completely different picture, because The pressure is starting to lighten in the relationship space. The support for creative solutions, optimism, fire energies like Aries really, really go well, the best with your placement. And that time is coming, and it will start towards the end of the month. So if you're feeling a little bit like, oh, okay, this is too much, just like hold out for those fire energies as they start coming. Okay, so speaking of the Aries, those are the rest of the must knows I want to talk about here. Big must know, new moon at 11 degrees of Aries on March 31st into April 1st, depending on what time zone you're in. For people in the Pacific and earlier time zones, that's actually a black moon. It's the second new moon in a calendar month, or sometimes it's in the sign, the same sign. That's also the definition of a black moon. So black moons, even though only part of the population is going to experience it as technically a black moon, it's still close enough, and we all will have extra seed planting capacities, extra new things going in, extra oomph for vision boards, which again we'll talk about later, setting the things that you want into motion and having them be really, really well supported for amazing growth. Or growth from the past could be manifesting in a great way now. So those of you who are near 11 degrees, we'll say between 6 and 16 degrees, the closer to 11 degrees, the more of a special kiss you will get from this new moon, this first new moon in the new astrological year and the new astrological cycle. So that will correspond with the dates like July 27th or so through the rest of July, and then through around August 5th or 6th. And the closer to August 1st or 2nd, the more of the big smooch you get from this beautiful new moon. Okay, so now the last must-knows I want to talk about have to do with Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter has been expanding your 8th house, and it's not done yet. And especially for those of you, the later you are in the sign, like August born, you'll have quite a longer time still with Jupiter influencing your 8th house. But it's at this magic time now where it's only 10 weeks away from moving into a new sign, okay? So it's carrying where it's at and doing its work there, but it's also carrying where it's going, okay? So these orbs, these points in astrology that are times of transition in between, different signs or houses are very, very, very important to note, because you will feel Jupiter and Aries energy getting stronger, especially March on. It will officially get into Aries in May, and this is a cause to celebrate because, as I told you before, with the Aries energies, and we were just talking about, fast-moving ones, the sun and whatnot, but Jupiter in a fellow fire sign, this is going to be a time of massive accomplishment, of massive expansion, and I know that there are things that are just on the edge for you. Just on the edge, life-changing things in your personal and professional and spiritual development that are just right there. And you might be feeling like, gosh, it's never going to happen. You're getting dogged by these water energies. Everything is requiring so much or overstimulated. But as soon as those energies start going into Aries, and in particularly Jupiter, you're going to have a long stretch of fulfillment, acknowledgement, recognition, things gelling, things that you're working on, clicking into place, click, 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 click. And you might start really seeing signs of that now in March. Sensitive people might even notice them a little bit sooner. There's no exact line of delineation when this could start, but it's definitely strong this month, and I wanted to mention it because it's amazing. Now, while Jupiter's still in your 8th house, you still have expanded potential for your finances, for loans, inheritances, winning money, sweepstakes, lottery, government money, any kind of support, a random person helping you. If you're someone that needs an angel investor or a special borrowing money situation, like for a loan, you have really great energy around that for a while still to come. All right, so now let's look at these 8 most important aspects to note this month. Okay, so in March 2022, we do have more sweet aspects than salty ones, and we do have this beautiful open period where it's a great time to make big decisions, and things that are very monumental might come to you, but it's also a time where you can conjure and plan and take big steps. And this is really important because we only have one more such period this year, because once Mars retrograde shadow starts to take over in September, we're going to spend the rest of the year in a shadow period. Okay, so this period between around March 3rd and April 27th is a very action-oriented time. So keep that in mind. But we're going to go through some notable aspects. Now, if you'd like to have a more complete list of the aspect, the date, what you can expect from them delivered into your inbox 1 month early, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter where you will get exactly that report delivered to your inbox 1 month early. But we're just going to touch on a couple of these here for March 2022. All right, so the first thing we have here is one of these Saturn aspects. Now remember, Saturn aspects, like everything in astrology, like everything in life, can have a dual aspect, but because it's a conjunction, these can kind of go either way. It's not a sweet aspect or a salty aspect per se, it's one that could go either way. And Saturn can bring harshness, but Saturn can bring accomplishment. Okay, so we've got Mercury, which at this point is here, but it's going to, well, actually you can see they're together. See, they're the same. So right here at the beginning of the month, Mercury and Saturn are together. Okay. Now, the second thing is March 3rd, and this is a big deal. This is when Venus and Mars and Pluto, so Venus, Mars, Pluto combination will all be together. And that's pretty intense. We know Pluto rules birth, death, transformation, rebirth. Sometimes the death is literal, sometimes it's figurative, but there's definitely transformation afoot. And we've got the, male and female energies, our action, our just money, love, how we use our energy. Everything is all coming together, and that can be for better or worse. So major transformation is afoot. This is an amazing launch time for business collaborations, things like that. And also a time to be cautious. When these energies get together, particularly Mars and Pluto, people who might be on edge already can blow up in not a good way. So there's blowing up in a good way, like, wow, something goes viral, or there's like tempers flare, anger issues. So if you are in a situation where you don't feel safe in your circumstances, this is definitely a time to be in a safe place, because volatility will run high, and you definitely need to know about that. So that's intense for better or worse. But in the sign of Capricorn here, we've definitely got a lot of business potential, financial potential, all coming together in the love, money, work, that kind of thing. Then March 5th, we have the Sun and Jupiter getting together. These will come to be at the same degree. And this again is one that could be for better or worse. The challenging side of this can bring some confusion, some disillusion, some, betrayal, breaches to security, things like that. On the plus side, it can be highly creative and highly spiritually transformational. Then we have this beautiful full moon at 27 degrees of Virgo. So anyone who's close to 27 degrees of an earth or water sign will get special kisses from that. We'll say between 22 and 29 degrees of an earth or water sign. And plus there are two great aspects. So that means not just those people who I just mentioned will get extra kisses. Everyone in the zodiac, every position can get extra kisses, because this full moon is blessed with two amazing aspects at the same time. Then we've got a little bump here, and let's see, so Venus is going to come, this Venus here is going to square Uranus, and a square is a challenging aspect. So money, love can get a little Uranus surprise. Usually that's an uncomfortable surprise, but I have seen situations where that's brought in like a crazy love situation in a good way. I've seen where something could come in and be jostling at first, but it could actually be positive. But expect surprises in love and money at that time. And then we've got the astrological new year, right? Astrological new year always feels more like a new year to me than January 1st. But we've got this beautiful time, and this is a great time for vision boards. Vision boards are where you either virtually or on paper, like cut out magazine or other things, affirmations, pictures of essences that you want to bring for the year. The universe is especially receptive to your intentions and your wishes and your, what you're working on at this time. Plus, we've got an extra boost with Mercury making a conjunction with the great benefic.
Jupiter. So that's very, very, very expansive, and that will be worked into our whole astrological new year from March 20th to around March, of 2022 until that time in 2023. So this is a really big boost, big time for planting seeds, wonderful time for launches, making big decisions, things like that. We are also going to have the influence on March 22nd of Mars square Uranus. Okay, so we know that Venus came and did this. Mars and Venus are traveling closely together at this time. And then Mars will square Uranus. And that one is a little bit similar to this Mars and Pluto, where you kind of got to watch this one. It could be a little more dangerous accidents, jolts in not a good way. You have to be more careful. Don't do extra weight at the gym on this day. Don't, not be present when you're lifting weights or when you're driving or walking on a ladder. If there's some kind of dangerous activity, I would avoid it at this time if you can. And then, people can also behave unexpectedly. So just kind of watch yourself, tune into your intuition. It's a good day to really just keep the distractions low so you can use your psychic feelers to navigate around any potential issues. Then we end off with this really nice new moon in Aries. Kickoff of this is basically the New Year's astrological New Year kickoff party. So we have the New Year on the 21st time, but then this is like the big party where the energies are really strong. And this is another great time for a vision board, setting intentions, brainstorming. And this is also, in general, March is a fantastic time for making plans for the future, for moves, any kind of commitments, contracts, buying new, big things, selling things, remodels, anything, engagements, weddings. All of that is really great in March and really has a lot of strong energy through the end of April for all of that positive momentum. Okay, so if you want more dates and what you might see from them, then definitely go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and sign up for the free email newsletter there right on the front page, and you'll get a welcome letter that will have an archive link that will get you access to anything that I've sent, and you can go deeper into what may be coming in March. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at AnnieBClarity.com. You can go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.